Hello, I'm Russ Sands with the Colorado Water Conservation Board, and we're so excited to share with you the launch of the public comment period for the 2023 Colorado Water Plan. A draft of the Colorado Water Plan will be up online for public comment running from June 30th, 2022 through to September 30th, 2022. And after that, we'll take the comments we receive, incorporate those into the plan, and have a final for the board to review and approve in January of 2023. I thought it might be helpful to walk you through a few things that might be new in the plan. As our CWCB director, Becky Mitchell, says, we are eternally grateful for all the support our stakeholders have given us in helping us partner to implement the Colorado Water Plan. And all of those main areas, many of them making up the original objective measures of the 2015 plan, still underpin the Colorado Water Plan update. However, the objective measures were often framed as useful, but not always helpful. So we've really taken a step back to say, how can we really think about setting a vision for the future without hardlining in these numbers that don't always make sense? I'll remind everyone that we've been planning and working on the water plan update since the first water plan came out. And that comment period and the public feedback is something that's really continuous for us. So we got the 30,000 comments in the first water plan, and it really never let up. We have continued to get comments over the years and really actively engaged with many of our stakeholders through that process. So in 2017, we had the creation of the Water Plan Grant Program that helped create a lot of interaction, but we also started our technical advisory groups or TAGs, the water plan update, really the underpinning data. So at the time, Statewide Water Supply Initiative, or the technical update that came out in 2019, those stakeholders really helped us think about the methodologies that were in there and are the same methodologies and data that underpin the new water plan. Also, we had an implementation working group to help us think about what an update for the basin implementation plans and the water plan would look like. And that was made up of our roundtable members and IBCC members. So then the technical update came out in 2019. That data fed into the basin implementation plans. And now all of that is rolling up into the water plan. On top of that, as you know, we had a scoping period where we kind of intentionally hit pause on our process to get some more feedback. And in that process, we got over 1,200 stakeholders across the state. Many of you probably listening in, thank you for your time to give us input. And that yielded a lot of great input. Honestly, 200 pages of notes or more probably over that period to really inform how we were thinking about and writing the update. We also got members of staff that were involved, our board members. We held workshops, and several members from the public that maybe weren't in all of those also attended. And we had a continuous feedback loop with our roundtables. And then we also started the Water Equity Task Force. And that effort was a one-year effort to really help get information that could authentically inform the Colorado Water Plan around equity, inclusivity, and diversity. I want to talk a little bit about how we think about the water plan. And this is a graphic that's borrowed with permission from the 10 strategies document. But in that document, there's a thought around from projects ranging from experience to theoretical. And we think a lot about projects that we might support, where experienced really is the area of these tried and true projects that really form the baseline for our programs as an agency. Those agency programs often are advanced when we work with our partners and think about the types of studies, research, frameworks, tools, or just getting groups together to think about what next steps that we could do to advance water planning in Colorado. And so our spectrum of work is really from this experienced to emerging, and where we really can work across this full spectrum, including things that are theoretical, are really embracing our stakeholders. And that's the grants that you come in to apply for that help us advance these things. So whether it's replacing a headgate or whether it's working on a research around dust on snow, our stakeholders help us do all of that. Whereas our programs really focus on kind of the more tried and true methodologies and base core programs around conservation and stream management planning and things like that. So we're really thinking about this spectrum of everything from tried and true to cutting edge, and thinking about how we can support all of that, informed how we're thinking about the water plan. Similarly, we got feedback on the first water plan that it was unclear who owned some of the projects. And so in advance of this release, we worked with a lot of our partner agencies, just to name a few: Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, Department of Local Affairs, and also Colorado Department of Ag, as well as CPW and many others, to help see what of the actions they might be able to help advance with us or support or help us reframe if we hadn't gotten it right. So when we talk about agency actions, you'll see that come through. And then of course, our partners and many of you will really be the ones that help us implement this plan while we support you. The question of what is a water plan has been on our mind. It's something that we get asked a lot, especially for people who have never heard of a water plan before, but it helps you step back and think of it as really operating on these two scales. On one level, it's absolutely an opportunity to partner, to set the stage for collaboration and resilience, and really mitigating our future risk to environment, recreation, agriculture, and municipal needs across the state. And it shines a light on these critical water issues and some of those potential solutions, and that's invaluable. It's the biggest megaphone we have to talk about water issues in the state. On the other hand, on the simplest level, it's a strategy document for the Colorado Water Conservation Board. And so in owning those two levels, a simpler way of thinking about that is dividing these things up as either partner actions, the things that you can do, or agency actions, the things that we can do. So I'll talk about that a little bit, but they're in the plan, in the update, you will see roughly 50 partner actions. Those partner actions, again, are the things that you could do or anyone could do to come in and apply for a grant or take local action that is really going to be the grassroots efforts that advance the Colorado Water Plan. On the other side of the scale, we have the 50 agency actions. These are things that CWCB can do or our collaborating agencies can help us get done. And so there are 50 actions that we are committing to that really help, and again, thinking about that spectrum, really help in that emerging space to build the types of support tools and good work that help advance our stakeholders. And in the partner actions, we've given about 50, they're really limitless. You could think of any number of ideas that you could come in for grants, but we've tried to provide at least 50 examples of the type of good work that we know that we need to see in the state that's really shining a light on the things that will help us advance and grow, and the types of things that we would fund with Colorado Water Plan grants. Underpinning the Colorado Water Plan, something that hasn't changed, is our values. These values are just what make Colorado great. And I'll read them, but a productive economy that supports vibrant, sustainable cities, agriculture, recreation, and tourism, a strong environment with healthy watersheds, rivers, streams, and wildlife, and an effective and efficient water infrastructure system. And then we've added this last value, really building on the good work that the Department of Local Affairs has done in terms of developing and updating their resiliency framework. And this is their definition for resilience. We've added this in an informed public piece at the beginning, but I'll read it. An informed public with creative, forward-thinking solutions that are sustainable and resilient to changing conditions and result in strong, equitable communities that can adapt to and thrive in the face of adversity. These four values really underpin the water plan. And again, you see the interconnections across all of these four values, and they're kind of woven together. For the sake of planning, it was easier to kind of divide up just categorically, and for the function of laying out our plan, to look at these across four main action areas. So we have vibrant communities, all of our water use in cities, no matter how big or small, but thinking about our municipal water, drinking water needs. Robust agriculture, thinking about our farms, our acequia communities, thinking about ranches, our local food sources. Thriving watersheds, thinking about watersheds as a whole, but forest health, making sure that our streams and our rivers are thriving, making sure that we're thinking about tourism and recreation of the state. And then lastly, thinking about resilient planning, really focusing on climate adaptation for the future, how we educate people around that and make sure that all Coloradans are engaged in that effort and we're not leaving anyone out. And then thinking about, as a government, how we can help support that effort, largely through things like funding, but also where we can, thinking about lean permitting processes or other good work that we can do to help advance local projects and be supportive. So these four areas, I don't think it can be said enough, are clearly integrated. We laid them out this way just to be able to talk, and you'll see in the plan ways that we've called out how they are integrated, but clearly you can't think about one of these areas without thinking about the other. Everything we do in Colorado is interdependent, and we're all connected by water. Those values that we talked about, those four values, they really drive us to act. And as an acronym, if we unpack ACT, we can think about those four action areas we talked about. Each of those have a Colorado vision that you'll see in the plan. This is really that vision statement of where we know we need to get by 2050 to have a stronger, more resilient Colorado. And there is a statement for each of those action areas. They all roll up and support those values in the plan. And then lastly, the T, the tools for action, you will see 19 actions in the plan. These are, or 19 tools in the plan. These are the tools that you can use to take action. And they're the tools that we support and sometimes are advancing. So you will see, especially in the agency actions, how those are called out as the tools that are being brought into a certain action. So those tools then support action. And then what are the actions they support? They support the partner actions, again, the things that you will help us do that we all need to pull together on, coming in for grant making, practicing personal conservation, really getting out and being informed about water and getting more people engaged in water. And then the agency actions, the things that we can do that sometimes play into that, but really it's focus on support tools, research that we can help provide, and the kind of good work that CWCB has done since it was initiated. So we need your help with this effort, and we need local communities and individuals and organizations to all help us implement. You have a role in this. You have a huge role in this. And we can help. We can help with the grants and the loans, the tools, studies, and other things that we provide, the type of good work that you're going to see reinforced in those agency actions. We also have, thanks to the legislature, more funding to help support capacity building. And we also have 4 new regional coordinators that are going to be brought on later this year that will help us work locally and increasingly focus on local areas and be living remotely that can help kind of regionally better advance local projects through grant making and support for identifying how we can kind of unhinge things in advanced projects. And of course, those 5 buckets of water plan grant funding are still the same buckets that underpin the water plan and are supported, and you will see in the partner actions as well as chapter 3. So chapter 3 kind of context setting of what CWCB does. And then in chapter 6, when we talk about partner actions, agency actions, Colorado Vision, you will see these referenced very clearly, trying to make that connection even clearer than ever and easy for grant applicants to understand where they can come in and apply for a grant. And of course, we shouldn't be limited. There are many opportunities, and we say that in the plan, for grant funding that's outside of CWCB, but it's imperative to just note that these Colorado Water Plan grants were specifically designed to help implement and advance the plan. And more than ever, we might have to leverage funds and think about our partner agencies and what opportunities there are if we're matching grant funding or looking for new ways that we can advance projects, because there is a lot of need in the state. So with that, I will just wrap up and say, thank you for your time. One thing that we're really going to want to focus on in this plan is getting your comments. For sure, absolutely. If we've said something wrong, if we can say something better, come in, tell us about that. We're going to have a survey up online. You can fill that out. Tell us where we could strengthen something in the plan, or we might have gotten something wrong. We want to hear from you. But what I really need from you and anyone listening to this, and as we're going out across the state, you'll hear me asking for a commitment to action. Those partner actions, we're trying to have a more honest and straightforward approach to the water plan, and really just understanding that how we meet the moment, we do that together. And we really need you to take action and help support that. And honestly, it's the good work that you've been doing and coming in for grants that have helped us get where we're at. We've done a lot of good things in the state. Now is the time to double down. And if there is a project that's out there that's emblematic, something you've worked on that you could share that tells us, this is the kind of good work we need more of in Colorado. By all means, share that story with us. Tell us that. We want to highlight these stories that are showing the way forward to be more drought resilient to our future, to be more resilient. What are the projects that are out there that we could be scaling or building upon that really help us advance us as a state? So comment, commit, and share. And all of this is up on Engage CWCB. We look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you for the time today. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out. Thanks.